Imagine ruling an entire kingdom with an iron fist, only to lose everything because you couldn't let go of your pride. Tonight, you'll hear the story of a mighty king whose paranoia turned love into war, and how the children he banished returned to bring him face to face with the truth he refused to see. Stay with me, because this ending is one you won't forget. If you've ever watched someone sabotage their own life because they couldn't admit they were wrong, smash that like button. Subscribe now for more stories of betrayal, revenge, and the hidden costs of arrogance. This is a tale of how pride can rot a heart and how love can still find a way back. In the shadow of cold mountains and endless dark forests, King Aldred the Magnificent ruled with a force that no one dared challenge. For decades, his victories were etched into songs, his banners flew over every conquered tribe. He believed himself unbreakable, a living legend. But legend or not, time is the one enemy no king can defeat. King, when silver crept into his hair and exhaustion settled into his bones, Aldred began to feel it, the slow, creeping dread that power might slip from his grasp, and that fear it poisoned everything. He had three children: Eleanor, who was wise and unflinching, Rowan, clever beyond his years, and Cassian, tender hearted and loyal. They had once been his pride. He used to watch them from his throne, convinced that together they would protect his legacy. But as the years wore on, that conviction withered. Every time Aldred looked at them, a voice in his mind whispered, "They're waiting, waiting for you to falter so they can take everything." It started as a passing thought, then a suspicion, then an unshakable certainty. One evening, the king called them into the great hall. The torches spat and flickered, casting tall, twitching shadows on the walls, like ghosts of the past come to watch. His children stood before him, uneasy under his gaze. His voice, when it came, was cold enough to chill bone. "Which of you loves me most?" he demanded. "Soon I will divide my realm, but only the one whose devotion surpasses all shall inherit the lion's share." Eleanor stepped forward, her composure unbroken. "Father," she said, "my love is proven by years of loyalty. It doesn't need to be dressed in grand speeches." Her calm was the wrong answer. He needed her to flatter him, to feed the shrinking ego that had once towered like a mountain. Instead, she gave him honesty. His lip curled with disdain. "You would deny me the honor of hearing your devotion?" Rowan tried to intervene, his voice urgent. "Father, we all love you." "Enough!" Aldred thundered, his voice echoing like a death knell. Cassian stood pale and trembling. When his turn came, all he could manage was, "I love you as a son should love a father. Nothing more, nothing less." To Aldred, that was betrayal. Their refusal to worship him confirmed every fear in his heart. In the days that followed, Aldred withdrew. Into that void slithered Lord Sylar, a man whose smile never reached his eyes. He flattered the king relentlessly, his voice soft as silk and twice as deadly. "My liege," he murmured at dusk, "your children gather in secret. They speak of your frailty, plotting your downfall." Aldred wanted to deny it, but fear overpowered reason. "Shall I have them watched?" Sylar offered, as if it pained him to ask. The king's answer was a broken whisper, "Yes." From that night on, no conversation was private, no letter was safe. Servants reported every word, twisting innocent moments into evidence. Aldred grew gaunt. He no longer slept. He paced the halls with a sword clutched in a trembling hand, haunted by phantoms of his own making. The kingdom began to suffer. Tax after tax was levied in the name of security. The people whispered that their king had gone mad. During a storm that rattled every window, Aldred summoned his children for the last time. The hall was empty but for the four of them, and Sylar, watching like a carrion crow. "I have given you every blessing," Aldred rasped, "and you repay me with contempt." "Father," Rowan pleaded, "you are not well." "Silence!" the king roared, spittle flying from his cracked lips. "You are no children of mine. By dawn you will leave this court. If you ever return, you will be hunted as traitors." Cassian collapsed to his knees. "Please don't do this." But the king turned away, and in that turning he abandoned every bond he had left. They fled to a distant keep. Rowan raged, ready to raise an army, but Eleanor insisted, "If we take the kingdom by force, he'll die believing us traitors. We wait." Cassian, however, couldn't watch their father crumble alone. On a rain-lashed night, he rode back to the castle gates, unarmed, his heart hammering with dread and love. When the guards dragged him before Aldred, the king's eyes were hollow, black pits of bitterness. "You dare return?" "Father," Cassian whispered, "I came to beg you. Seelar is deceiving you." Sylar stepped forward, his tone dripping scorn. "My liege, you see how he lies? And Aldred?" He believed the spider's poison. With a trembling hand, he signed the order of execution. Some guards wept as they took Cassian away. When Eleanor and Rowan heard, something in them broke. Rowan's voice was low and lethal. "We've waited too long." Their march home was unstoppable. Villagers who had suffered joined them, carrying torches that burned through the darkness. From the battlements, Aldred watched his children approach and felt the cold hand of regret. "What have I done?" he whispered. But Sylar's mask slipped away at last. "You have done exactly what I wished," he sneered. As the gates crashed open, the king understood the enormity of his folly. But there was no time to undo it. In the throne room, Cassian was still alive, barely. When Aldred fell to his knees before him, tears carved channels through the grime on his face. "Forgive me," he sobbed. "I was blind." Eleanor and Rowan joined Cassian at his side. Rowan laid a hand on his father's shoulder. "You were, but you see now." When Sylar lunged with his dagger, Rowan struck him down in a single decisive blow. At last the hall fell silent, this time cleansed of lies. As dawn broke, Aldred relinquished the crown. Rowan was crowned king, Eleanor at his side. Cassian, ever merciful, nursed their father back to a frail semblance of peace. Sylar's allies were driven from the castle. The kingdom began to heal. For the first time in years, Aldred felt the weight of pride lift from his chest. It was not a triumph, it was the quiet relief of finally seeing the truth. Pride is a fortress no wall can protect. It grows until it blinds you to everything: love, loyalty, even your own heart. And in the end, no victory feels as sweet as finally letting go. If this story hit you in the heart, tap that like button. It helps more than you know. Tell us in the comments, what's the most unforgettable betrayal or redemption you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us all no crown is worth losing the people we love.